Welcome back to the Higher Form Podcast. We're here every week having real conversations with leaders, coaches, and everyday people about what it takes to become your best. We know life will test you, and we're here to share practical tips, tools, and relatable stories to help you build the highest form of your life.
All right, this week I'm sitting down with Micaela Riley. Welcome to the Higher Form Podcast.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm excited.
I'm so excited for this conversation. Micaela is a functional nutritionist amongst many other credentials, and we can kind of get into some of those. But we're going to talk about women's health, birth control, functional health, and just kind of how to advocate for yourself and your body to really figure out what's going on.
Yep.
So I'm super excited. Let's just get right into it.
Yes, absolutely.
Tell me a little bit about you and what you do, because I don't think our audience, some people might know you, but yeah, I think you're kind of newer and you're in the Kansas City area. So for those of you who are local to Kansas City, Micaela is from here.
Yes, I am. Yeah, I'm from Kansas City. I'm a functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner, quite a jumble of words there. But I used to be a personal trainer. I was super into group fitness. I taught at Health House when it was in Kansas City. But yeah, kind of went more wellness. I have my own journey of health that I kind of went on years ago, struggling with weight gain, bloating, fatigue. My hair was falling out. I just really was experiencing a slew of symptoms seemingly out of nowhere. And I was doing all the right things, but my body was just I felt like a stranger in my own body is really the best way to put it.
Yeah.
And so I was going to all these doctors, specialists, trying to get answers for what was going on. Why was I experiencing all these things? And it was more or less you just need to take birth control. You're not working out enough. You need to eat less. And I was like, okay, well, I guess I just need to run more.
Yes.
So I went on this vicious cycle of lots of yo-yo dieting, trying birth control, trying the traditional route, and it really was getting me nowhere. So then I started doing tons of research on women's health, literally taking my labs from the doctor and trying to understand what was actually wrong with them, because they were like, these look normal, fine. And I was like, that doesn't seem right. So then I would go back through and start researching all the different markers that were off. I ended up discovering functional medicine, and really ultimately over 5 to 7 years, I lost 40 pounds, regulated my cycle, started growing hair for the first time, feeling like I had energy, wanted to actually do things, which was really exciting because it was almost opposite. I didn't take birth control. I didn't take these other pharmaceuticals to get to that point. And that was really all that traditional medicine was providing me as a solution. So it was obviously inspiring myself going through that. And then I started sharing my journey on social media and quickly realized that hundreds of thousands of women also see themselves in my story and really align with everything that I post and share and obviously have experienced. And I think that was definitely a very eye-opening moment for me, because I really just started sharing on socials as I love wellness, let me share a few things. And then when I really started talking about my journey and story and being gaslit by traditional medicine, it was oh my God, this has happened to me. I feel exactly like you do. So that had really opened my eyes. And then I started diving more into the research of women's health, and it's very crazy. Any woman and men should be, shocked by the statistics around women's health and the research, the funding. It's dramatically disappointing. Disappointing is the best way to put it. And we've come a long way, I think, with all the education, and hopefully even just my small story has helped people get the diagnoses that they're looking for, just get more answers. So we have come a long way, because when I was struggling with my health, it was there was literally nothing, nobody was talking about this. So I feel we have made huge strides, but we still have a long way to go. So yeah.
Well, and I think it's important that you were advocating for yourself in terms of, my doctor says my labs are normal, but I don't feel normal.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do my due diligence and look into this even further, just because this one doctor right here says this. No shame to doctors, but they just are only educated in certain things. So if you want to dive deeper in a particular issue that you're having, like you did the research. And I think a lot of people just like take the first thing that the first doctor tells them and they're just like, okay, this is it. This is what I do. This is what they say I should do to manage how I'm feeling.
Right.
And you were like, no, that's not enough for me.
Yeah. And I tried that and it was like, I felt the same, if not worse.
Yeah.
So I was like, something has got to be wrong because I mean, I was working out all the time. I was eating super clean. It wasn't like I wasn't doing the right things or like my lifestyle habits weren't there. Like, you know, it just was kind of, an odd situation that I was like.
So tell me about like your specific issues that you were working through, if you don't mind sharing what it was that you were like trying to get through. Yeah.
So ultimately I got the diagnosis of PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, which a lot of people are now getting more diagnosed because hopefully my story too, I do think that like people sharing about their health and getting these diagnoses has helped other women get to the point where they're like, okay, I have PCOS. Now here's the things that I can do. But I discovered I had PCOS, Hashimoto's, which is an autoimmune condition where your immune system attacks your thyroid. And then I also have hypothyroidism. Symptoms are managed, like Hashimoto's into remission. I don't struggle with PCOS symptoms anymore. I have a regular cycle. So all of those things have been managed in reverse, but ultimately that's what I discovered I had.
Yeah.
More functionally, I, ran all the labs that I possibly could because I was kind of getting just like a really small view of what was happening inside my body. So I found out I had high cortisol. Hormones were all over the place. Estrogen, progesterone, like non-existent. High androgens. My gut was like a complete wreck. So there were other more functional, like smaller diagnoses within those like overarching PCOS, Hashimoto's, hypothyroidism.
Well, and they all kind of tie in, like if you've got inflammation or something is off here, that's going to trigger your body to respond in a hyper way over here, right? And just kind of like it tags off of each other.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So at what point were you like, okay, what my doctor's telling me, is it working? I'm going to go see a functional doctor. I'm going to look into this myself. Like, was it years after trying stuff or were you like, okay, he gave me birth control or they gave me this and I'm not doing that. I'm going to go do this instead.
Yeah, I think the one moment that I was like, okay, I have to do something different was I booked a specialist appointment with two specialists, an endocrinologist and an OBGYN at the Mayo Clinic in like Rochester, Minnesota. That's like where one of their like big,
I think that's their like main one, right?
The
like
main center.
Yeah.
I had up until that point, I had become so frustrated because I was like just gaining weight and like just felt awful.
And you're like, I'm eating healthy. Like where's the disconnect here?
So then I finally got the referral to go to that clinic, submitted like a ton of lab work to them. And I got there and like literally the OBGYN was like, you just need to take birth control in like a 5-minute appointment. And I had traveled 8 hours to that clinic. It was, and my mom was there and like her jaw was on the floor too. So that was the moment that both of us were like, okay, this like cannot be the only way to like see results and like there has to be more.
Totally.
And that was the OBGYN. She was just like, you need to take birth control, whatever, see you later. And then the endocrinologist was like, well, you're just eating too many like calories. He kept like going back to like, you're just eating too much, whatever.
Yeah.
And that was like a 10-minute appointment. So we ended up, and to their, like, I'm never against traditional medicine. Like I have a physician's assistant that works for me for my patients and clients. And I do value it, but I do think for people that struggle with more of these like functional minor hormone imbalanced symptoms, like they are getting brushed off as like, oh, you're crazy, you like just need to take birth control, like,
or eat better, or go be active, and you're like, okay, that's not
I'm already
enough.
doing that. So I feel like for those instances it's like they don't really serve those cases as well.
I agree. I think there's a time and a place for doctors. Obviously we need them in our life, they save lives, but for little things like this, my degree is in nutrition dietetics. And so something that I learned in school was that primary care doctors, you know, any main doctor, they get like 7 hours of nutrition education in their whole like studies.
Yes.
So they learn the basics, but they don't learn how food can integrate into health on like a deeper level, or food or supplements or any of that. So I think it's starting to come around now that like they're recognizing that there's a lack in support from like, I'm just going to use like family practitioners as like an example, because I think that's where people go to like get their labs done most of the time. It's just like my primary care doctor and I did this, and they don't have all the ins and the outs of like how to support somebody on that type of level.
Yeah.
Because they know all the other stuff, you know? And so I think that's where it is so important to have specialty people and functional practitioners who are able to like look at the science on that specific diagnosis or thing that symptoms that person's battling, that they can dive into in a different way than your primary care is going to do.
Right.
Yeah.
No, exactly. Yeah, I think it's like a time and a place. Like if I were to break my arm, hopefully somebody's there to save me. But
I don't want my functional doctor to fix my fractured arm, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a time and a place for sure.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously you didn't just like wake up one day and you're like, I want to be a functional practitioner.
Yeah.
So like you went through all these health struggles, you
Yes.
did your due diligence, you know, got support from a functional doctor, and then you were like, you know what? I want to help other people. How did that like transpire for you?
Yeah, I think just like that. I had my own personal journey and story. And I also had worked with a bunch of functional doctors, naturopathic providers, and kind of gathered my own like, this works really well, this doesn't work really well kind of analysis. So it really allowed me to see like what worked and what didn't, even from a functional perspective, because a lot of functional providers are not created equally.
Totally.
I worked with a lot of people that were like, yeah, probably not that great, but that was like a really great learning experience to be able to give me insights to like what works well and what I could create as a program. So yeah, I kind of got further educated on how to work with clients, understanding the labs from a more specific angle. I still continue my education. I mentor under, you know, naturopathic providers and other functional doctors, just because I think there's so much emerging information even now, more so than ever. So just trying to, you know, understand those things from more of a specific level is super helpful to provide for the clients that we work with.
Yeah.
But yeah, I went back to school. I've taken like every single functional certification that exists.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting too. A lot of the programs that I've completed, there's a ton of dietitians, medical doctors, like specialists that are in these training programs as well, because I think people are starting to wake up and realize that there's more to medicine than just like what is learned and taught in
traditional school.
Right.
It's furthering their education.
Exactly.
To the
so
next
they can
level.
serve their patients better.
Yeah, absolutely. No.
Yeah.
So you have your own business,
Yes.
Be Balanced Co., Be Balanced Company.
Be Balanced by, Be Balanced by Micaela
Yeah.
is my name on social media. And that's like what I started at, because it was really just me working with clients, and like that's what it was. But now I have 7 employees. Yeah. Cool. And just have been able to grow my business that way. So I created Be Balanced Co. to kind of remove me out of it. Like, it sounds more business appropriate.
You're not the only face of it anymore.
Exactly.
Right? You've got other people
which is
working
exciting.
under you. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
you're elevating. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy because I never imagined I would be in this position.
Yeah. Well, because you started out as a kind of a personal trainer and just was in the fitness side, and then you dove into more of like the holistic wellness side of things, and now you kind of combine the two, right? So what you guys do is support people through functional lab testing. Just give me a quick brief of like, if a client's like interested in what you do, like what's your spiel? Yeah,
so we kind of have the Be Balanced methodology that I've created with combining functional labs and our personalized protocols. And now we have a physician's assistant on staff who helps prescribe hormone replacement, peptide therapy, and it really makes it like this really awesome 360 support system with lab testing, nutrition, supplementation, lifestyle changes, workout programming, so that patients, clients are supported in all angles that are really going to help transform their health and help balance their hormones. reverse metabolic syndrome, like all the things that we see on a day-to-day basis. So it is really powerful. But that's essentially what it is: lab testing, nutrition programming, workouts, lifestyle changes, different biohacking protocols too, like fasting, sauna, cold plunging. Like, what are those other things that are going to help stimulate detox or, mitochondrial function? So yeah, we integrate all those, and then definitely work with a bunch of perimenopause, menopause clients that can benefit a lot from hormone replacement therapy.
Totally.
So that's where the physician's assistant can come in and help prescribe some of those things. And it makes it a really great program for, just feeling better and getting the answers that most people are looking for.
Just like a well-rounded support system to help you from the inside out.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think one thing that we do well that a lot of programs miss the mark is everything's highly personalized to the lab test. Like, we don't have something that's like, oh, here, follow this gut protocol that we've created, and we just give out to like the 2,000 people that we work with.
Totally. Like, here's a multivitamin.
See you in 3 months.
Like, how's it working for you?
And a lot of functional doctors now are set up more in the sense where they'll, meet with you for an hour and then you schedule an appointment in 6 months, but it's really hard to track how things are working if you're not having frequent communication and follow-ups and like symptom tracking. And we have all those systems in place to be able to do that. And we're developing a lot of really cool things using AI and different techniques that I'm hopeful will also help just like further the experience. It is tough. I wish I could like meet in person with all of my clients, but it is nice virtually. Like, I work with international clients all over the place.
So it opens up your pool of people you're able to work with when you can bring it online, right? I mean, it just allows you so much more accessibility to your services if you're online.
So that's been great. But I wish there was a little bit more connection, like human interaction. But hopefully more community events, those are always like fun and helpful. So
totally.
We'll see.
I know community is so important with,
it is.
Ever since COVID, I feel like people have just really recognized the importance of like a community of like-minded people, right? That you look up to, can spend your time with, can reach out to if you need somebody.
Yes.
So
we missed like a lot of that. So it's kind of like people getting on the train of that. Yeah,
absolutely. So like, if someone is like, I went to my doctor and I just got a general lab panel done and it says I was normal, but they're like, I'm still experiencing stuff. Like, I know something is wrong. What's the difference between some of the labs that you would recommend? I know I don't have like a specific situation, but like in general, what's the difference between like a functional lab versus like the traditional lab that they're going to get at their primary care?
Yeah, most of the time at primary care, I mean, they're really only going to run like a CBC, CMP, lipid panel, like very bare bones, basic. Kind of, I guess the best analogy would be, how Target has like their Target brand of like the same fruit snack that like, I don't know, Welch's has.
Yes.
Like it's just a little bit of probably like a leveled up in the taste and experience. And I don't know, maybe that's a bad analogy.
No, but I get where you're going.
It's just like way more detailed, and you're getting about like 2 to 3 times the markers that you would get from your traditional doctor.
Yeah. Because if you go to your traditional doctor, you're right, they're just going to do the basics. When I was pregnant, they did the basics. They do like the standard panel. And I was like, can you add vitamin D on there? I had to like advocate to add like other things. And I was like, well, I want to know where I'm at with this because it's not included in like the basic panels. And that's even still a basic reading, right? So you do have to like know a little bit about what you're looking for to advocate to your primary care to like get these other results that you're looking for.
Yeah, I have a lot of posts on my Instagram too. So if someone's like, they just have insurance care that they can't afford like our testing, which is out of pocket, which is frustrating. But I think it's so much more valuable and you're going to get so many more answers. Like, it's 100% worth it. But I have a lot of posts where you can like screenshot, go to your doctor, like literally say, run this for me.
Like, I want this.
Sometimes, unfortunately, they're at the hands of insurance companies. Like, they can't run these certain things because they don't deem it necessary. Like, there are those instances, unfortunately.
Yeah.
The other issue with like primary care is running labs is they're looking to diagnose extreme disease. So like the lab ranges are insanely wide. Like insulin is a really great example. The reference range for insulin is from 2 to 26.
That's
when
so
like
big.
insulin resistance kicks in at like 8 units of measure.
Yeah.
So we're really looking for like very small windows of like this person is creeping towards pre-diabetic or they're maybe not full-blown insulin resistant, but if they stay where they're going to be in like a year.
Well, because you could be within the ranges.
Yeah.
But you could be like maybe a little lower, a little
like
high.
0.2 from being extremely low, but they're like, oh, yeah, you're normal.
You're fine. You're in ranges. You're like, okay, but like not really.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. But yeah, I think and also the amount of patients that a primary care sees is like
totally
so insane. Like they just have 15 minutes to talk to you, and obviously they're probably dealing with very unwell people that they need to tend to a little bit more than someone who's got like
generally healthy
endometriosis, and they're like, oh, just take birth control, she'll be fine.
Like, you're fine.
Yeah. So it's unfortunate that that's like also just the situation that typically happens
with insurance specifically too, right? Like preventative health is an investment and illness is what your like insurance covers. Like insurance covers when you're ill and you have to do these things, but like if you want to preventatively be taking care of your health and wellness, it's an out-of-pocket expense. Like you have to pay for it 99% of the time.
Yeah, that's so true. And I mean, even like gym membership, like paying to get healthy, like that's preventative medicine for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So this kind of brings me into, since you mentioned some of these things already, but like women's health, women's hormones, birth control. We kind of talked about those a little bit, but I want to dive into it because I don't know about your algorithm is probably very similar to my algorithm, but like the second you pop on, you have somebody talking about hormones and birth control and, you know, just like cycle syncing with your workouts. And there's just like so many people talking about it. What do you feel like is one of the biggest misconceptions with women's hormones right now that's out there?
I think one of the most like understood aspects of women's health and hormones is birth control.
Yeah.
It has been classified as a class 1 carcinogen. Like literally if you Google it that's what it says.
So did recently ham and bacon.
I mean, like they're in the same category. But I'm not anti-birth control. I'm more anti like let's educate women about what it does, the long-term effects, which honestly, we probably don't even know like what that is. There is one longer standing study, but it was like pretty inconclusive. Who knows if it's like skewed by whoever funded it.
We never know anymore.
Yeah, I know. But no, I think like women don't even understand like what it's doing when they take it. And it's like this quick, you know, appointment of this adolescent girl that's like 15 or 16. Like literally this was me going to my doctor, hey, I'm having these symptoms, and it was just like, oh yeah, you just need to take birth control. No like consent of, you know, here's what's going to happen later on down the road when you come off of it. Here's the potential of like infertility. There's literally nothing that occurs in that like very small appointment. And even for moms that are like with their daughters at these appointments, I mean, they don't even know either.
Yeah.
So I think I'm more in the camp of like, let's educate women about it, and then we can have informed consent with like,
so you know what you're getting into if you decide to get on it or like to get off of it too, because I know there's a lot of women who've like, I've been on it for like 10 some years now, got on it in high school. I'm mid-20s now. Like, I think I need to get off of it because they're recognizing maybe some of these things that are popping up in their health. And getting off of it is not easy either because you can just stop taking it, but like your body's gonna rebound in a way that it's learning how to re-regulate its own hormones again. So like, I feel like there's not enough education from the primary care who is giving it to them. What it's going to do to you when you get on it, and then what's going to happen when you're trying to get off of it too, right?
Yeah. It basically just gives your body this synthetic consistent dose of progestin, which is the synthetic form of progesterone, or ethinyl estradiol is another one, combination of two. Or both of those things. So you're getting that full, complete suppression of what your body would naturally produce, which can be super helpful for suppressing symptoms. But you're not actually understanding why those things are present in the first place. And then, of course, what can happen when you come off of it is like your hormones start going a little bit crazy because
Yeah.
they've been suppressed for, 10, 20, 30 years. I've had clients though. I had a client in her late 40s and she had been on birth control for like 20 years.
Yeah.
And we worked my whole system, like got her gut in a better place, got her thyroid functioning better, and she came off the pill and had a normal, good cycle, like literally zero symptoms because we worked those systems appropriately before she like actually came off of it.
So her body could help regulate
Yeah.
as she
wasn't
learning to
inflamed in
process.
like other
Yes.
areas either. Yeah.
Yeah. I think a lot of people will like want to get off of it and they'll stop taking it and then they have all these crazy symptoms and they're like, well, I'm just going to get back on it
Yeah.
because it helped regulate me and I felt better,
Right.
with these symptoms specifically. So
Yeah.
I think, the education of like, well, how can I support myself as I'm post birth control, getting off of it?
Yeah, definitely with the clients that we work with, I think it's important to know that it like depletes all of your B vitamins.
Yeah.
Impacts liver function a ton, can shift the gut microbiome, make you more prone to developing hypothyroidism with the impacts of that on the thyroid. So understanding those things first so you can adjust nutrition, add in more liver support, replenish all of your B vitamins, like flush your system for a solid month before going off of it usually sets people in a better place than, when they or before that if they were to do nothing.
Yeah.
So it's definitely possible, but there's like obviously literally no information on that. And I experienced that. I went on and off birth control like 4 or 5 times because every single doctor was like, this is what you need. This is what you need. And
you're like,
I was like, okay, I guess I'll try a different type.
Yeah, that's true because there's so many, just like anything else, there's like a million different brands of it. You're like, well, maybe this one will help. I haven't
but it
tried
was
that
just
one
like
yet.
the same scenario each time.
Yeah.
So I'm not anti-birth control. I think like it's there for a reason and super helpful. But it's like the lack of education is like not okay, especially for these like really young women who like don't really know anything about their cycles or hormones.
Well, and I think another thing on that is, yes, young women. I mean, I got on birth control when I was like 15 and I didn't get off of it until I was like 22 or something. So I was on it for like 7 years. And I think that's pretty normal. People like get on it in high school, stay in it through college. And then they're like, okay, maybe I can get off of it now, you know? But like, especially after maybe a woman has a baby and they're like, well, I don't want to get pregnant again. So I'm just going to jump on birth control to, make sure that that doesn't happen by accident or something.
Yeah.
But like there's so many other ways to track your cycle. And I think there's also just not enough information about like your body, the woman's body and your different phases in your cycle and how you can track when you're like ovulating and all these things. And I just feel like, I mean, there's some really good doctors out there who are now like really speaking out about this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like Dr. Jolene Brighton and there's
she's great.
fertility oh my gosh, I'm blanking on her like Instagram handle, but she's like,
I probably have seen her.
I know, but they're like talking about this stuff and I'm like, good, finally somebody's like teaching women how to look at their cycle, know when they're ovulating, track their hormone or track their cycle so they can have other ways of controlling not getting pregnant, right?
Yeah, it should definitely be taught in school.
Yeah.
Like 110%.
And I think it is. I think it's just they just like brush over it and they just don't really educate. They're just like, well, this happens and this happens, so make sure you do this, and like that's it.
And then there's like the 14-year-old girl that's like, okay.
Yeah. Well, and then you don't hear about it again after that. You take like one health class in high school and then you just like nobody ever talks about it again. So you're just like, there's just not enough,
Yeah.
So when you get into your mid-20s and you're like trying to not get pregnant or you've got some symptoms and you're like, well, I'll just get on birth control, I'll stay on it. I think there's such a big gap in education.
It's really like the women's health, entire studies on women's health is like 100% lacking. Women were not required to be in clinical research until 1993, which like really isn't even that long ago.
No.
Most studies are male dominant. If you look into the research, like endometriosis, PCOS are like severely unresearched and so there's like a huge gap in the funding even of research of women's health. So there's still a long ways to go in that category. But there's a lot of people in the wellness space that are, doing good things, and we're moving in the right direction, which is good.
Yeah, I think fortunately, because of the way the internet is, you have access to at least look into it and start reading about it and finding more about it, about like for yourself, and not have to rely on like your primary care to like provide you all of the information that you could need.
Because they probably won't.
Because they definitely won't. No shame to them. But so hormones, how much is like cortisol and stress impact specifically women? Because I know men obviously have cortisol and stress in their life, but like how does it impact women and our vast amount of hormones that we're like processing through every day? I feel like that's a big piece of the puzzle that today's day and age, modern life, everybody's so busy and so stressed and there's so much going on. And how is that like impacting our hormone regulation and our ability to just feel well-rounded?
Yeah, I think stress and cortisol, I mean, that was a huge part of my journey. I was doing like the high intensity workouts, running all the time, Orange Theory type classes. And I was just not getting a response. I don't think that was like the core reason of all of my health issues, but it definitely completely throws off your primary sex hormones, estrogen, progesterone, completely depletes them or can make them do kind of other wonky things, but definitely can make someone feel puffy, bloated, anxious, not sleep well, watery, inflamed, like that puffy, soft look. A lot of people can align with if they're like working out, doing all the right things, like running around, living like just a high maintenance
all the time.
And I think I get that question a lot of just like, how do I not be so stressed when it's like, that's life. That is like what the world that we live in, especially with social media. And like, it is really hard because you almost have to like rewire your brain to like stop constantly hitting it with dopamine and like just slow down. But it is hard when you live in a world that's like go, 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 entrepreneurship mindset. And it's hard for me too to like regulate myself running a business. I'm sure you get it.
Well, and it's just like, it's highly sought after to be busy these days. You're like, I'm so busy, I'm always doing this. It's like, it's people like feel like it's a cool thing. And I'm like, okay, like you do it when you need to, but you shouldn't have to be doing it all the time.
Like slowing down for most people is going to allow them to heal, especially if they're struggling with gut issues, hormone imbalances, and staying in that like super high stimulated state ends in burnout and fatigue. And I feel completely exhausted all the time. My thyroid's not functioning. Like staying in that high stimulated, anxious, cortisol ridden state feels really good until it doesn't.
Until you hit that point and you're like, okay,
like my body's not functioning. So I think it is like a huge issue for women because we have to show up for kids and make dinner and do all the things. So I think there is a higher like nervous system dysregulation in women.
Definitely.
I don't think it's like the root primary cause of all like hormone issues and, autoimmune conditions, definitely not. But it is like a huge problem that definitely could be making someone's situation extremely worse. So slowing down, adjusting the workouts, like adding in supplementation when needed. Doing a dopamine detox, like deleting social media. But unless you're like watching my content or following me.
Stay watching our content, but everybody else's can be on pause.
It is really healthy for your nervous system to like detox some of those things that just like drive your mind insane.
Well, and have you seen, there's like this thing called the brick?
I'm like, the fact that we created a device to like shut our phone off is pretty crazy.
Because people just have a, like, sometimes, you've probably, I feel like everybody's done this. You pick up your phone and you were going to do something else, but you just open Instagram. You're like, I wasn't even going to do that when I picked up my phone, but it was just like so habitual to just like pick it up and open the thing that gives you that dopamine hit and let me just kind of scroll for a little bit. And then you're like, wait, no, I was going to do an email or like something else on my phone. So I think it's just so normal for people to just not even recognize how much they're just like stimulated all the time by the things on the internet. And
I think it's, it definitely, even the clients that I work with, I mean, one of the biggest things is like, sometimes you just need to sit there, stay consistent and like stop driving yourself crazy. Like, don't
Yeah.
Google your symptoms.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Don't like
you're going to
look into it too
diagnose
much.
yourself with 15 new things if you like get on social media and somebody's talking about, I don't know, parasites or Epstein-Barr virus. Like, it just
Totally.
creates this like constant.
You're like, maybe I have that. Okay, I need to do
Yes,
this, and I need to
yes.
go buy these 5 things and heal myself this way. And
Yeah, it's just like
yeah.
too much.
Yeah.
So like go outside and touch grass and like
put your bare
you'll be
feet in the
fine.
grass and walk around for a little
Yeah,
bit.
like honestly, that's the best thing you can do.
Yeah, grounding.
Yeah.
I think that's not talked about enough too.
I know.
You know, is just to be like out in nature.
Yes.
Even if your feet aren't in the grass, but like just being outside, walking, listening to the birds chirping,
Yes.
looking at a tree, like, and just healing your nervous system in
Yeah.
that simple way of simply just like walking outside for a little bit.
Yeah, I think I work with a lot of clients in New York and I
Mhm.
have friends that live out there, so I'll go there like every so often and
Yeah.
I don't even know like how anyone
Like, how do you
survives
live
in that.
here?
Yeah, it's just like constant overstimulation on top of like
Yeah.
social media and just everything else with life that's like 100 miles an hour. It's like that times 10.
Well, because what do they call it? Like the concrete jungle or
Yeah.
something? Where because
Like,
it's just like buildings and
as
buildings
soon as
and
you
like
get there,
hardly
it's
any
just like
trees.
overstimulation 24/7. There's so many people, like navigating, getting
Yeah.
anywhere is hard. I'm sure if you live there, it gets easier, but it's definitely like, and the clients that I work with that live there, I mean, it's
Yeah.
like very much they're struggling with a ton of symptoms because their nervous system is like,
They're just high stress and
Yes.
yeah. No, that makes total sense. So
Yeah.
like, yeah, here in Kansas we have tons of
I know, it's great.
trees and parks and all kinds of things. So
Nature.
yeah, nature to walk around. You don't even think about how geographically that can impact
Someone.
why you're
Yeah.
experiencing maybe certain symptoms or why your body seems to be more in fight or flight more often than other people, you
Yes.
know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So how would you rate diet and exercise on a scale of 1 to 10 for like healing yourself? I mean, are those the things that you primarily are like, once we have the results of your functional lab, the protocol that we're going to put you through is diet
Yeah.
and exercise
I think that's
support?
definitely like the bedrock and the foundation of everything. Like if somebody implements, I don't know, supplements or peptides or
Mhm.
hormone replacement therapy, they might feel a little bit better, but if you're not making those measurable changes with diet, exercise, nutrition, lifestyle, like
Mhm.
you're really not going to change much and you're not going to get sustainable, long-lasting results.
Yeah.
I work with a lot of clients that it's like a brain rewiring mindset thing of, you know, they have to, and maybe that's like slowing down, not like doing more.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, if they don't change those things and we're like, okay, let's add in hormone replacement therapy, like they're still going to feel you cannot add hormones on top of a puffy, inflamed, hot mess person who has gut issues
Yeah.
because you're just going to feel like the same.
Yeah. It's not going to make
Um,
that big of an impact on your
Right.
symptoms.
It's not going to work as
Yeah.
well as it could if
Yeah.
you're like reducing inflammation in those other areas.
Yeah.
So no, I think it's like the bedrock, the foundation. If somebody's looking for somewhere to start, like basic functional labs that are going to give you some more insights and information, more blood work.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, diving into diet, nutrition, lifestyle, like that's honestly going to make a huge impact. And then you can get to the fancy stuff later when you're like,
Yeah.
okay, I've been doing this consistently for 12 to 24 weeks and I'm ready for more.
Yeah.
Because sometimes some people struggle. I'm sure you see it, like
Yeah.
with just that consistency of the monotony of like,
Totally.
I go to the gym, I work out, I do this. But over time, you will see shifts and changes. But we're so like trained with social media to be like, oh, dopamine, I need more, I need more,
I need to try
more.
something different. This isn't working for the
Yep.
3 weeks that I've been trying
Like
for
you just need to
it.
sit there
Yeah.
and do it
Yes.
and get consistent with it and you will get there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We always say, and we've said this on the podcast like 1,000 times, but you have to be brilliant at the basics before you even go deeper. Like you have to be sleeping a general amount. You have to be drinking water. You got to be active a few days a week. You need to be eating whole food
Yes.
generally. Once you can do those things, on a consistent level, then we can kind of go to the next level of like figuring
Getting
out
fancy.
Yeah, getting fancy, whether that's maybe tracking macros or looking at your micronutrients and how much fiber and all these other just like things that like let's get a little bit more specific on. But like until
Yeah.
you're doing these general things first, like going specific, getting supplements isn't going to like massively
It's
change
going to burn
what's
you out
happening.
faster than
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
You're going to feel overwhelmed in about 2 weeks.
Yes. Well, and I do think that this is a big thing that people want to see results fast. In today's day and age, they want everything
Amazon
right
Prime.
away,
Yeah.
right? Exactly. And so I think that's harmed the fitness and wellness industry, because if you want lasting health and results that you're looking for, it does not happen in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
It happens in months and years. Like it takes time for you to sustainably
get those results
and then
Yeah.
be able to keep them and stay healthy for the longevity, right?
Yeah. How many times have you seen like the HCG diet that was like 500 calories work well for anyone?
Yeah.
No, it doesn't.
No,
But they probably
not.
felt good for like a week. And then
Yeah.
they're like, okay, why did I gain 2 times the weight back? Like, you know, those, yeah, the foundations are never sexy, and
Totally.
it's, yeah, not going to be Amazon Prime either. I think we're all like, oh, I can get this by tonight.
Yeah. And I'll start this supplement tomorrow and I'll feel good in a couple days. And you're like, no.
No,
It's a
we have
little
to change
longer
some
than
other things
that.
first. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we've talked about a lot today, a lot of
Yeah.
different things, and it can probably be overwhelming for somebody who maybe is experiencing something that they're like, okay, my doctor's not addressing this. I'm still feeling really off. Like, what would be like the first step that you suggest somebody doing if they're like, okay, something is wrong. I don't know what it is. My doctor's not really helping me. Like, what do I do?
Come work with us. No, but actually, no, I think like I said, I share a lot of free information too
Yeah.
on social media, because I honestly wish that information existed when I was struggling with symptoms, because it would have saved me a lot of time and energy researching all these things.
Yeah.
But I think doing more comprehensive, even just blood work, like going to your doctor, screenshotting like some of the lab examples that I've posted, like just getting a little bit more information. PCPs definitely have the ability to run those
Yeah.
labs, and like a lot of them will. Will they be able to interpret them? Probably not. But just getting a little bit more answers, like insulin, A1C, lipids, triglycerides, like really trying to understand those metabolic health and inflammatory markers that
Yeah.
could be off and probably making someone feel kind of
Yeah.
crappy, or like I can't lose weight.
Yeah.
Definitely your perimenopause, menopause clients, like for sure get your hormones tested, understand where those things are at, because hormone replacement therapy can be super helpful, or just, you know, being able to take and do certain things to help bring those back into balance.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be number one, like getting some more answers with whatever, you know, resources you have.
Go beyond the basics that you
Yeah,
might
beg your
already be getting.
doctor.
Yeah.
They will should do it. They will do it. And then 2, yeah, like diet, lifestyle, high protein, high fiber, avoid processed foods, alcohol, kind of the obvious triggers to inflammation within the body.
Yeah.
And then 3 would be workouts, you know, strength training. I'm sure you guys, you know, promote that a
Yeah,
ton. That's
yeah,
like the
yeah.
best form of exercise you can do for longevity, anti-aging.
Building muscle. really.
Yes,
Yeah.
like 3 to 4 times per week, get in
Yeah.
the gym, 30, 45 minutes, whatever makes sense for your
Mm-hmm.
routine and situation. But yeah, consistency with that. You're definitely building muscle is probably one of the most like underwhelming processes, because it takes forever.
It takes so long, but it's going to support
gonna be
your
worth it.
metabolism.
Yeah,
One of the best ways to
Yes.
have muscle, period.
especially for like
Yeah.
women in menopause. Like
yeah.
get in the gym and weight train. I cannot emphasize that enough. Especially, I work with a lot of menopause women who working out is hard because they've always been taught like, oh, I need to go on the treadmill for 2 hours and run all of these calories off. But weightlifting is going to be 10 times better. You're going to burn way more calories,
Yeah.
and you're going to support bone density and
Yes.
joint health and all the things. So yeah, weight training and get into a community where you're with other women who also enjoy doing that.
Totally.
Go for coffee after, like make it an experience so it's a little
Yes.
bit more enjoyable than like dreadful.
Yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, those would be great things. Sleep also is just like another good foundational thing.
Yeah.
Good morning and nighttime routine. And then touch grass. Yeah.
Go touch grass, guys.
Yeah. Last but not least, touch grass.
Go breathe in the trees and touch the grass, please.
Enjoy the outdoors. If you're in Kansas, it's supposed to be really cold. So
Maybe
like,
not right
maybe not this
now.
weekend, but here soon.
Yeah, this is like the time when, if you live in the Midwest at all, it's like the best time to go to like a beach. It's
I
like the
know.
dead of winter where you're like, okay, it's really starting to
I'm
get
supposed to
brutally
ski
cold.
in the next couple weeks. I'm like, oh God.
Where are you going?
Vermont, I think.
Yeah, I'm literally going to Vermont next week to
Really?
visit a friend. Well, I'm not going to ski, but
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
I don't know what, I just like go. It's my boyfriend's family. They like set up
Yeah.
a trip, but
so awesome.
I'm not very good at skiing. I was in a ski accident last year. So
Oh no! Obviously,
Yeah.
was like, did
I'm
you break
fine.
anything?
But I got
or-
like whipped. Some guy, I had fallen
Oh.
and some guy like hit me from the back. It
Ugh.
was, yeah, I was like trying not to cry the whole
Oh
time.
my gosh, you're like, I'm okay, I'm okay.
But yeah, as long as it's not snowing,
Yeah.
go touch grass.
Go touch some grass. Yes,
Yeah.
please. Last question
Yes.
here. If you could give any woman advice, what is one thing that they could do to support regulating their hormones today, tomorrow? Like, what is one habit in their day-to-day life that they could do to support their hormones?
Yeah, I think two things that kind of go in tandem with what we were just talking about more foundationally. I mean, I think doing all those things that I just mentioned are definitely going to put you in a better place, and hopefully you can start to see small changes over time. But sleep, 8 hours a night, like literally, I was having this conversation with one of my clients who was getting like 5 hours of sleep every night. I'm like, you're increasing your risk of diabetes like every single day. So 8 hours of sleep every single night, like really focusing on that. If you're struggling with sleep, figure out why. Is it your hormones? Is it cortisol? You can definitely supplement to increase that. But yeah, 8 hours of sleep every single night. And then I would say 30 grams of protein within an hour of waking is like foundational, super important for women. If you don't have an appetite in the morning, that's a problem. Your metabolism's probably really slow.
Yeah.
Front loading your day with protein is going to help you feel fuller, faster for longer, support muscle growth.
Yeah.
So those are like the few foundational things that I think can just make a huge shift, and they're free.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's such easy advice. It's like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's easy advice, harder to implement for some people depending on who they
Yeah.
are, but sleep and start your day with protein.
If you're already doing those things and you're like, well, that doesn't help me, then I would say do lab tests.
Yeah,
So
let's
you
go
can-
deeper.
Yeah. If you're like, well, I already do that, then you need to do the lab test.
Then you need to go to the next level.
Yes,
Yeah, that makes
100%.
sense. No, that's so great. I've loved everything that we've talked about today.
Yeah,
This
me
has
too.
been
This
so
was a great
awesome.
conversation. Hopefully it really helps someone.
Yeah, I guarantee that somebody's going to get something from this. So
Good.
where can people find you online, social media, your website? Like, give us all the details
The
so they can look
rundown.
you up.
Yeah. Be Balanced by Micaela is my Instagram, Facebook. Those are my primary platforms. TikTok as well.
You're on TikTok. We're not on TikTok.
I love TikTok. I actually, like really started growing an audience there in the pandemic.
Yeah. it's
So
great.
yeah, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, those are my primary platforms. Be Balanced by Micaela. You can go to my website, order one-time tests. So if you just want to do a test, you're just kind of curious, you can order a panel, do that, or you can work with us on a more one-on-one intensive level with follow-up appointments and more of like a structured program.
Cool.
But yeah, that's kind of where I live in the Kansas City area. I'm planning to do a couple of exciting things in the community like this spring and summer. So hopefully that'll be an exciting way to connect with people. But yeah, that's where you can find me.
Great. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah,
for
thanks so
coming
much for having
today.
me.
Yeah. Awesome.
Awesome.
Well, we'll see you guys next week. This episode of the Higher Form podcast is powered by Avexia Health and Performance, your home for smart training, simple nutrition, and real accountability. Built to help you look, feel, and perform your best. Whether you're just getting started or chasing your next level, visit avexiakc.com to learn more and start building your higher form today.